Welcome to Giant Finance's Plus Guide to Recruitment. In these short series of videos, we will provide bite-sized guidance and training to help you to understand the basic building blocks of a recruitment business and the terminology they use. So to start from the beginning, what is recruitment? Recruitment refers to the process of identifying, attracting, interviewing, selecting, hiring, and onboarding employees. In other words, it involves everything from identification of a staffing need to filling it. Depending on the size of an organisation, recruitment is the responsibility of a range of workers. There are 4 common stages to modern recruitment. Stage 1, attract. Stage 2, engage. Stage 3, retain. And stage 4, qualify. So stage 1, learning to attract. The first stage involves truly understanding your target market. Where can your target candidates be found and engaged? Once you're in front of them, what will actually attract them to consider your role rather than somebody else's? Identifying where to find talent is, of course, far more complex today. Advertising in your industry's key publications or on the specialist job boards that serve your niche, it no longer cuts it. To get results, the modern recruiter has to market their job wherever the candidate is, and then position a job offer so it's appealing to today's candidate. Stage 2, learning to engage. Engaging is crucial. It's where a recruiter can really make their mark and where they really earn their money. That's because a lot of people apply for roles or accept recruiters' approaches, but they're not actually fully committed to the position or wanting to actually make a move. So this is where great building of relationships can generate a distinct competitive advantage. It's the relationships that candidates have with recruiters as a standout factor in winning candidates over and seeing them progress to being successfully hired. This is more important than your sector knowledge, more important than the specific jobs you're looking to fill. In a market where lots of candidates drop out of the recruiting process or don't respond favourably to your advances, the positive impact of engaging and building stronger relationships is a crucial differentiator that will drive up your conversion rates. Stage 3, learning to retain. If 5 candidates have been shortlisted for a role, only one gets the job. The other 4 will obviously be left disappointed. But the recruiter deemed those other 4 candidates to be strong enough to be considered as a future hire. So how can they retain their enthusiasm for the agency and keep them open-minded to the idea of returning and taking up a position at some point in the future? Social media makes it possible for recruiters to build longer-term relationships with these rejected candidates and to maximise retention of this talent. Forward-thinking recruitment teams are recognising this and investing in building such relationships today to give the business an edge in the hiring market in years to come. The final stage, stage 4, learning to qualify. So last but not least is the key role of qualifying the suitability of your applicants. Rigorous testing is the most surefire way of achieving this, but that such testing can prompt candidates drop out from the process if the other steps haven't been fully adhered to. That's why initiatives such as engaging on social media, building relationships that we've just spoken about, and investing in your employer brand and the like are so important.
The most common types of recruitment are known as 360 recruitment and 180 recruitment. As the name suggests, 360 recruitment takes in all aspects of the recruitment process, from business development in order to win clients, through to job advertising, candidate sourcing, and finally onboarding a candidate into a role. 180 recruitment, on the other hand, only focuses on the candidate sourcing and placement side of things, with the business development and sales tasks taken in elsewhere within the recruitment business.
So what are the different ways to get paid, including umbrella companies? Recruitment agencies replace temporary workers of 3 main payment options: limited company, umbrella, and PAYE. Limited company refers to the contractor's company structure. This is one of the most popular business models for all sizes of organisation. The agency will make gross payment to the contractor, who is then responsible for all their own tax and liabilities, etc. The second option is an umbrella company. An umbrella company is a separate company that acts as an employer for temporary workers or contractors working on fixed-term contracts. The way in which an umbrella company works is fairly straightforward. The temporary worker or contractor becomes an employee of that umbrella company. The umbrella company then pays the temporary worker their net pay, deducting the umbrella fee, employers and employees' NI, tax, and apprenticeship levy. And the final option available is PAYE. PAYE means the agency pays the temporary worker directly. The agency is effectively employing the temporary worker and are responsible for deducting tax, national insurance, and holiday pay. Typically, agencies can either run the payroll in-house or outsource to a payroll bureau such as Giant Finance Plus.
The difference between permanent recruitment and temporary recruitment. Permanent recruitment involves recruiting for employed positions direct with the hirer, the end client, with no further involvement from the recruitment agency. Temporary recruitment is used for short-term roles, either on a rolling basis or fixed-term contract. With temporary roles, employment is not with the hirer, but with a third party, often the recruitment agency.
So what is the rebate policy and how does it work? A rebate policy is effectively a refund policy for a permanent hire taken from a recruitment agency in the instance that they don't work out. Imagine you buy an expensive item like a new car. You'll want some form of safety net in case it goes wrong. Therefore, any reputable recruitment agency will have a rebate policy in place to protect you as the client. How does a recruiter's rebate policy work? A rebate policy will typically work by giving you a guarantee period that if the candidate leaves within a set period of time, you as the client will be given either a refund, a partial refund, or a replacement candidate. If you hire a candidate and pay the recruiter's fee within the invoice period, and that candidate leaves or is fired, then the rebate comes into play. So what does a typical rebate policy look like? Well, a typical rebate policy lasts from between a month to 3 months, and it can be extended for up to 6 months. Also, a rebate is broken into a sliding scale and a free refill period where an alternative candidate will be provided. The way a sliding scale works is where if a fee is £10,000 and the rebate period is stretched over, say, 10 weeks, then for each week completed by the candidate, £1,000 is deducted from a possible refund if the candidate does not work out. So say, therefore, a candidate lasted 5 weeks before leaving the company. The agency couldn't find a replacement, then they would owe your company £5,000. A free refill is generally an extension period after the sliding scale period finishes. This is where even though an agency would not owe you a refund anymore, they would still not charge another fee for a replacement candidate.
How do margins work in recruitment? Margins are used in temporary or contract recruitment to determine the fees incurred by the hirer when taking on a candidate from an agency. A recruitment business will usually calculate the margin as a pre-agreed percentage of the agreed payment rate to a candidate to cover their costs, and is how they make a profit on temporary roles. It's usually an ongoing fixed percentage of the candidate's pay rate calculated on a daily or hourly basis.
What are the different types of commission and how do they work? For a permanent position, there may be a fee for search and selection, not always, to actually produce a list of candidates and present them for interview. There will always then be a final charge or a single charge of a percentage of the annual salary upon starting of the permanent employee, so the start date, usually around about 20% of the first year's salary. For temporary recruitment, then basically it's just a margin over the hours that they work over what they pay the candidate. So basically they may be paying the candidate, let's say £15 an hour and charge them out at 20. So basically that is exactly the way that the company makes profit, makes a margin over what they're selling. And then for the consultants themselves within a recruitment agency, very much a sales-led culture. Usually get a basic commission, a basic salary, but then will be very much bonus-led on profit/margin targets that they bring in.
What is a candidate assessment? A candidate assessment is the process through which recruiters and hirers evaluate and measure the suitability of individuals applying for specific roles. The process involves analysing an applicant's skills, qualifications, and experience in order to determine their suitability for a specific role. It can include things like background screening, technical assessments, and qualification checking.
So what does it mean to have a pipeline, or basically how the recruitment process works? Firstly, you identify the hiring goals of your clients. Get a client, see what they want. Do they need a permanent worker or for a specific role, or temporary contractor? You then source candidates and contact potential candidates, or handle these two together. So you go to the market, use job boards, own database, etc. Present the role and the specifics that are needed for whatever job it entails, and go out and contact people to see if you can get referrals, i.e. candidates that will fit the jobs. It can also work the other way around, whereby actually you can have a candidate that's looking for a job and you go out and do the search and select. And that brings us into the reviewing the metrics and the outcomes. So effectively, you're always looking at what your customers want. So therefore, you can actually specifically go out and target people who can actually fill that role, i.e. I need someone who can do programming of a specific IT software, etc. Or very simply, someone who can drive a forklift and qualified, or a qualified doctor, etc. So basically, it can be two ways: either getting a job and then going out and find someone to fill that, or knowing a candidate is looking for a job and then matching them to a position.